Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's that time of the week, that time of the show, Wine and Dine Wednesday, but we're doing it a little bit different today. Usually we have winemakers from wineries come in, but today we're joined by Eric Dudley, who is from Dudley's Wine and Gifts, and it's in Murrieta, you said?
Yep, in Murrieta, in the Richie's Diner Shopping Center.
Okay, so it's not a winery. You actually are kind of like a wine bar.
Well, we're a wine retail and a wine bar. We have wine from all over the world. We have local wines, and then we have a tasting bar at the store as well.
Okay, so how did you get into it? Tell me a little bit about yourself, since you're one of our new guests,
Sure.
new victim.
Sure. Well, originally I did a lot of traveling around the world, been to about 20 countries, and whenever I'd go somewhere and go wine tasting, I would always go in casual attire. Of course, you're wine tasting, you're casual, and sometimes I'd get the feeling that some places were rather stuffy when it came to wine. So I had this idea, since I loved wine, I loved travel, I love history, which they all go in hand in hand. I realized, what if I opened a place where you could take sort of that little pretentious air, that stuffiness out of wine, have a fun place where people could go wine tasting, ask questions, mispronounce wines, and not feel bad or condescended towards. So I had this great idea to open a shop that would do just that. Of course, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I don't have a stuffy bone in my body. And as a result,
those New Yorkers are.
That's right. And as a result, I felt, I should have a place that's unstuffy where people could go to enjoy wine and taste wine as if they're in their own house. And that's how it came to be.
So where exactly in Murrieta are you located?
We're off of Murrieta Hot Springs Road between the 15 and 215 freeways, right in the middle in the area many people call the Triangle. Richie's Diner is in the shopping center, and Starbucks Coffee as well.
And is your business open 7 days a week? What are the hours there?
We're open 6 days a week. Tuesday through Thursday, we're open 10 to 7. On Friday and Saturday, we're open 10 until, because every Friday and Saturday, of course, is when we host our wine tastings, which start at 5:30. Sometimes they're over at 9. Sometimes there's so many people that come in, we're there till 12 midnight. It just depends on the tasting.
So you just leave it at 10 till?
We just leave it at 10 till. It's like a party when you invite your friends over.
Right, I know
That's
how that
the way
goes.
we do it at Dudley's as well.
Okay, so you've brought some wines for us. You've actually brought a champagne also, but we're going to start off with one of the wines, yes?
That's right. Let's start off with the sparkling wine, because it's good to start off with that before we have some of these heavier wines. A lot of people, when they think of summer wines, they might think of Rieslings, they might think of Albariños, Chardonnays, even Pinot Grigios. But what I like to remind people about is sparkling wines, because I think it's one of the most underrated wines. And what I mean by that is, everyone knows to think of a sparkling wine during a special occasion. Of course, you pop the cork, you have champagne. We all love the sound of a champagne cork popping. But the truth is, it makes a great summer wine. Whether you have sliced melons or different kind of diced up fruits, or even strawberries and cream, or anything informal, sparkling wines go with it all. You serve it nice and chilled. It's very refreshing. And you certainly don't need an occasion, although once you actually experience that wonderful poof or popping sound of a nice sparkling wine,
there we go.
It feels like there's cause to celebrate. But the truth is, it can turn a boring Sunday afternoon by the pool into something wonderful just by opening a little bit of sparkling wine.
Right. Now, this might be a silly question. I said champagne, you said sparkling wine. Is that the same thing?
No, it's not, actually, and that's important.
Oh, okay.
Champagne is a specific region in France that's well known for making a specific type of sparkling wine that's made from a method called the méthode champenoise, or the champagne method. And although different sparkling wines around the world are made in that same method, Champagne is the name of the region, and the French name many of their wines after the region where the wine is from. So that's why really what should be called champagne is if it comes from that region. If it's not, it should be called a sparkling wine.
Gotcha. Okay, and you were saying that pairing with this, do some fruit. Is that right?
Fruits are great, but anything goes with champagne. Most wine connoisseurs will tell you, or wine educators will let you know right off the bat, sparkling wine goes with anything. Whether you're having beef, or you're having chicken, you're having fish, or like I said, you just have some fruit on a lovely weekend afternoon. Exactly.
This is very good. I like the bubble. Usually, not so much the sparkling wine, but the champagne will, the bubbles kind of, give you a little rumble in your tummy.
They do, and there's something really special about this sparkling wine that I chose to pick, because it is a sparkling wine from California. This is called a Blanc de Blanc. And there's Blanc de Blanc sparkling wines, and then there's Blanc de Noirs. Blanc de Blanc simply means white of white. It's from a white grape that makes it. In this case, it's Chardonnay.
You really know your stuff.
Yeah,
Man.
it's fun to
and
know
you
a little
pronounce
bit about
everything
wine.
so. Did you take French or anything?
No, actually,
Never?
you might notice I have a Brooklyn accent.
Oh, yes, I did
Yes,
notice
when I
that.
speak French, but I do get the lip quiver going when I say like Blanc de Noir. So I've got a little French quiver going, so I've been
You've got
working
it
on that
down.
for years.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
So-
speak French, but I've got the quiver down.
Got you. Okay, so what are we going to be trying next? Let's move on to our next one, shall we?
We're going to move on to, we have two reds that I brought today. And speaking of Pinot Noir, this is a Pinot Noir that, of course, is not made into a sparkling wine. And this is a famous wine. It's Gevrey-Chambertin from the Burgundy region of France, which, of course, is probably the most renowned region for producing Pinot Noir. And the Gevrey-Chambertin is famous because Chambertin was the wine that was Napoleon's favorite wine.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, the lore is that every time he went into battle, before the battle started, he would have a bottle of Gevrey-Chambertin.
A bottle, not a glass.
Yes, he would share his bottle
doesn't
with his
mess
troops.
around.
He was very serious about his Chambertin. But what happened was he was on the eve of a very important battle, and his shipment of Gevrey-Chambertin never made it.
Oh, no.
And he didn't have his Gevrey-Chambertin before that battle,
And
and
they
it was the
lost.
Battle of Waterloo. He lost. So don't forget your Gevrey-Chambertin.
You know, I don't think they taught that to us in history class. That I don't think they mentioned the whole wine thing that he liked to drink before his battles. I don't know if that
Absolutely.
would
Let's
make
give
me
it
a
a
very
try.
good warrior, but
Let's try a
it
little
helps
bit.
me on the interviews. So now, what are some of the characteristics of this wine?
Pinot Noir is a light to mid-bodied wine. So, for example, your Merlots, your Cabernets, your Syrahs, Zinfandels, those are all full-bodied red wines, where Pinot Noir is sort of designed to be light to mid-bodied. Gevrey-Chambertin is on the heavy end of mid-bodied, which is why it's so famous. It has great complexity, great cranberry and raspberry flavors,
Oh, yeah.
and great straw flavors. Think of hay and think of earth, like when it rains on a hot afternoon and you smell the earth rising. That's some of the flavors that you get out of the nose, or what they call the bouquet, and out of the palate or the taste of a really great Pinot Noir like this Gevrey-Chambertin.
Wow. So now, what are we pairing with this one? Are we going with the crackers or the bread? I mean, or
With
we
the
doing-
Pinot Noir, what I thought was perfect was something simple. I like to show people that when you have a great bottle of wine, you don't necessarily need fantastic food that you
Right.
spend hours preparing. I'm not a very good cook. I don't do well at very big meals. I have a lot of friends who are chefs, so I
neither.
call them when I want something very seriously. But this is simply just bread with some butter on it, where I melted butter in a pan and just used a brush to smear some of the butter on it. And this is a port wine cheese, a little buttered bread with a little cheese spread, and there you have it. It goes perfectly
cheese
with the
is
Pinot Noir.
delicious.
But you
It's
can
creamy.
That's right, it really is. But Pinot Noir is another wine that's known to do well with many, many dishes. Pinot Noir is a safe wine because although it's classy and it's tasty and it's complex, it's light to mid-bodied, so it's not going to clash with too many of the foods at the table, so it makes for a safe
Good to
wine.
know. So it's kind of something for everybody. Okay,
absolutely.
and we've got one final wine.
Right, and this is another one that's absolutely fascinating to talk about. This is a wine from central France. It's a famous region called the Rhone Valley of France, and more specifically, this is from a village called Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And Châteauneuf-du-Pape is famous. It has a nice long name. It means New Castles of the Popes. Now, the wine is typically a blend of grapes like Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Carignan, Cinsault, even Viognier, which is a white wine grape, which people are very surprised when they find it's blended into this red wine. But the popes loved the wine so much, they became famous for it. The wine is now called Châteauneuf-du-Pape, New
Very
Castles of the Popes.
interesting.
And of course, the popes liked it there so much, they set up their summer residences there, and they're still there in Châteauneuf now.
Who knew there was so much history behind these wines?
It is,
and I
that's-
thought it was all science. You know, the acidity and the grapes and the this and the that, but there's a lot of history to it. That's really neat.
It really is, and it's part of why I opened my store. Wine is a gift, it's often said, and it really makes a great gift if you know a little bit about the wine. You don't have to know much, but if you come into a store like Dudley's Wine and Gifts, I'll tell you a tidbit about the wine you're buying. And that's the beauty and the diversity of wine is it's a gift, but there's history in the gift, if you care to know.
So is this chocolate?
These cookies are called Petite Écolière. They're French cookies, but they're found in every grocery store. So no matter where you are, you can find them in the cracker section, and they have dark chocolate on top of the crackers.
Future reference, me and chocolate, we're like this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all like chocolate, that's for sure.
So now, do you have a website, phone number,
yes.
anything that we can give the viewers?
Sure. Our website is dudleyswineandgifts.com.
Okay.
Of course, you can reach us at 461-2225. It's the number to the store.
Okay.
Or you can stop in for a taste. Again, we have tastings on Friday and Saturday. They start at 5:30. We always get a pretty good crowd there. What makes us unique is we do toasts there. We introduce everyone who comes into the bar so that everyone feels like they know people. Because after all, when you're tasting wines, you should do it amongst friends.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very, very much for coming.
Welcome.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
All right, and hopefully we'll have you back again for some more of these segments.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
All right. We'll be right back with more right after the break.